Hi there, my name is Eyal Zbeda. I'm a co-founding partner at Mobilion Ventures and a chairman of the Zbeda Group based in Israel, leading aftermarket player. Mobilion Ventures is a venture capital investing in early stage startups in the smart mobility sector with a special twist and a focus on aftermarket. In today's session, we're going to talk about the aftermarket, what is the aftermarket and why the aftermarket. We're going to host 3 champions of the aftermarket, and our first champion is joining me now, Gael Escrib, founder of Nexus Automotive International, CEO of Nexus Automotive International, former at Delphi and Valeo Services. Hi, Gael.
Good morning, good afternoon, Eyal.
Hi there. Could you explain to our audience a little bit about what is the aftermarket, a little bit? We're not that familiar.
Yeah, for sure. So first, I would call it the automotive aftermarket, to be 100% precise. Now, it's a huge industry of over $1,000 billion in terms of size. It's still very fragmented, but it's huge. It's made of a long chain of operators that at the end enable cars to remain on the road, enable you to go to work, enable a mother to bring her kid at school. You know, that's the purpose of the aftermarket. Now, when it comes to the operators, you have industrial operators. They produce the parts. You have distributors that dispatch the parts down, to the workshops. So you have distributors such as SK in Brazil, TVS in India, Advanced Auto Parts in North America, which is a pure retailer, or Babcor in Australia, which is the rising star of Asia Pacific. And then you have the workshops where you bring your car as a consumer and where the car gets fixed and go back onto the road. Now, it's a highly service-driven industry, as you can imagine, with one characteristic is that you will find very agile individuals in this industry. So full of service and full of agility.
Great. So now that we understood a little bit about the ecosystem, could you explain a little bit more about what Nexus is?
So I told you, we have industrial parties, we have workshops, and in the middle you have distributors. Now, Nexus is the largest alliance of distributors around the world with 2 fundamental objectives, missions. First, it's to connect very proactively manufacturers such as BorgWarner, Bosch, with distributors, more proactively with the objective to be a growth accelerator, to make sure that we do provide very high growth patterns in the industry. The second objective is that Nexus is an innovator. With the multiplicity of companies in this alliance, over 1,800, we obviously are in a position to consolidate resources, to consolidate the entrepreneurial fiber of all the individuals that you will find in this alliance. And this way, we produce new projects, new companies, startups, etc., that will enable the aftermarket, I would say, to become the aftermarket of tomorrow, which we will discuss in a few seconds.
And if you look at the innovation, because we're in an innovation world, what do you think the aftermarket is so appealing, and what are the advantages of startups going to the aftermarket?
So first, as I told you, it's a huge industry, very fragmented, but a huge industry in size. It's an industry in transition to be or to join a more technological environment, a more digitalized environment, a more global, I would say, perspective. And it's an industry that is moving from shifting parts to shifting parts and delivering services. So it was very focused on parts, and it's now really becoming a service industry. So at the end, being very resilient at the same time, it's an industry that can provide very high profitability prospects. It's a business in which time to market is quite fast compared to the OE industry. And I would consider that it's an industry where investing is probably less risky, or investing time even is less risky, because you have the ability in our industry to start small and then to adapt with, I would say, the first results that you would book. So it has plenty of advantages. besides the fact that, as I told you, it's transitioning. And in any transition times, you can imagine that in any transition times, it provides huge opportunities to any entrepreneur that is engaging. So I would really encourage the audience to get involved, because we have lots of very exciting prospects to offer in the automotive aftermarket.
And the automotive aftermarket basically has, in the last 100 years, basically, since it was formed, basically, it's been very steady, very outgoing. What's all of a sudden, all the change and all the desire to have innovation in the market? I mean, it's been there for such a long time. Why the innovation is so important in the aftermarket place right now?
So the innovation is important because we are transitioning, as I told you. First, let me remind you, your grandfather and your father were very proud to be the owner of a car. Not sure that your kids will be that proud, okay? So the ownership is fundamentally, the ownership relationship with the car is disappearing. The car is commoditizing. And when you get commoditized, the service industry is basically taking a very significant role in the future of any industry. So here we are typically commoditizing something that was part of your life, but it will take a different piece in your life. Now, for that reason, obviously innovation is stepping in with the service offers moving into our industry. It will engage innovation very significantly in anything that this industry will I would say, undertake in the short future. Now, it's also the reason why at Nexus, with everything that I just said, we have decided to engage in Mobilion, because obviously we need to equip our distributors that have been selling parts for decades in this old environment. Right. This environment is migrating to parts and service. Now, we need to bring to our distributors the services that they will deliver together with the parts that they have been delivering for decades, to the workshops in the future. And it's the only reason why we have engaged very, very enthusiastically in the Mobilion adventure.
And I have a hard one for you. If you were to name one technology domain that will accelerate this vision of the changes and the disruption, which technological domain would you choose to put and bet your money on?
So obviously connecting with the car, accessing the data that the car is providing, and exploiting this data is something that I would definitely, engage in. You can imagine that if this works, and plenty of startups can engage in pieces of what I just said, okay? But if this works, you would potentially be capable to anticipate breakdowns. It's more comfortable for a driver to be informed that his car is going to face an issue in 50 kilometers than to be, sitting on the side of the road after 50 kilometers because the breakdown has arrived. So connectivity is, I would say, the next frontier that we have to address, with all services connected to this, I would say, prospect. The OEMs, for the moment, are set to, protect the data that the car is having. I do believe that, the dialogue with the OEMs that at Nexus we have engaged will enable us to work hand in hand with the OEMs and make sure that in a free market, any workshop would have access to the data that any car is delivering. But this will require technology, will require entrepreneurship, and there is a full space available for startups that have the appetite to engage in the connectivity, to deliver the services that the workshops will need tomorrow to connect with the drivers and their vehicles.
Super. So you're talking about appetite. I think you gave a very nice intro for the aftermarket. We'll move now for our next champion, Avi.
Thank you, Eyal, and hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Avi Feldman, co-founding partner and managing partner of Mobilion Ventures. I would like to introduce you to Thierry Mounier, founding partner and CIO of Nexus Automotive International. Hi, Thierry.
Hi, Avi.
Thierry, you are the first CIO in Nexus and actually in any ITG. As Chief Innovation, how do you succeed to structure and organize innovation, and what does it mean to you?
Thanks, Avi. First, let's bring us back to 2018 and 2019. Why we decide to step significantly in innovation. Imagine, Avi, we are in 2027. Our customers from independent automotive aftermarket are more satisfied, succeed to face daily new challenges, and deal with new technologies. Imagine that in 2027, our key stakeholders will have a better life and an easier automotive aftermarket life and experience. This is only possible because back in 2018 and 2019, we decided to not only talk about innovation, but we decided to act in innovation. We decided to invent, to modernize, and to structure our ambition with and around innovation in our heart. Above everything, for Nexus, innovation is a booster for our activity, a booster for our organization, and a booster to improve and simplify how business flows. Second, you raise the question saying how we structure it. We structure with a very pragmatic portfolio management approach around some key pillars: safety, electric vehicle, fleet management, connectivity, diagnostic cars and services, green vehicle. Third, we also decide to organize our innovation strategy around two complementary actions and initiatives. First one, incubating and developing some ideas, needs under Nexus umbrella in close connection with our direct business activities and model, but especially supporting and implementing as best as we can Mobilion. Mobilion being for us the key pillar of our innovation strategy, a unique partner bringing industrial and business partners together to accelerate the go-to-market, which is fundamental. A unique partner having a wide approach to different channels on the market. And last but not least, a unique partner, expert in green and smart mobility, with capacity to scout innovation preliminary in one of the best and biggest mobility hubs in the world, in Tel Aviv, but also to use its connection around the independent automotive aftermarket to act and scout all over the world.
Now, with Mobilion, Nexus decided to get closer to actual tech innovation, as you said. But can you explain us what are your expectations? Are you driven by financial returns? What are you looking for?
Our expectation in Nexus is to manage proactively innovation in order that our customers, our stakeholders can be better prepared, better equipped to reach the challenges that we are fronting. Our expectation is to act in a progressive way. And let's not forget that, according to us, the best way to make things happen is to act more than talking finance. Therefore, to make long story short, Avi, we're not driven by financial returns, even if this remains an important element, as for any entrepreneur who deserves recognition. Our expectation can be summarized very easily. From idea to actions and business development, which is the role of Mobilion and Nexus as the go-to-market and business accelerator. But in the other way around, also from Nexus business needs to solution drivers, which is the role of Mobilion to also support for some new initiatives and call for action that we identified.
Thierry, what is Nexus Automotive vision? Are you able to illustrate this through interest in new initiative, in new solutions?
Avi, we see the rise of mobility as a services, of higher vehicle utilization, of bigger portion of fleets in the total car parks, of additional monetization of data from vehicles. All those elements will dramatically change the automotive industry in the near future. We, as Nexus, need to bring new solutions that will give consumers better services, more efficient processes, higher safety, better user experience. Our portfolio companies, together with Mobilion, Adam, Right Vision, Clickin, are all contributing for a better aftermarket and bring services by and for the aftermarket. This to give you a more specific example, we can talk about Click-ins. Click-ins are contributing to a more efficient service process all the way to the workshops. All those type of initiatives, all those examples are contributing to the development of new initiatives and services in the automotive aftermarket, and therefore contribute for a better support to better prepare distributors, manufacturers, workshops, and customers in a new ecosystem.
Now, Thierry, today almost everybody is talking about sustainability. It's a big issue in the automotive sector. What does it mean for Nexus as the aftermarket leader? Can you challenge our startups with specific needs that you see in the market? Where should they aim at?
I like your word challenge, because challenge is a word who talk a lot for Nexus. To be back on your question linked to sustainability. Sustainability is a real challenge in our industry. To match and lead this challenge, we invest in new actions, new initiatives. And also we contribute and support global initiatives, such as the one that we are currently driving with the World Economic Forum, named Circular Car Initiative. This is a very good example of how we can better prepare some potential sustainability challenge and some needs on our market. Circular Car Initiative is, for instance, a fantastic opportunity for startups to be exposed and challenged to the global automotive market with innovative ideas and to benefit from Nexus environment and Nexus ecosystem. This is one example above others on which one we try to drive in a progressive way the challenge of sustainability and to try to be prepared. But sustainability is also a fantastic door opener to new opportunities, new challenge, allowing us to better prepare and to better work together. Nexus engaged, for instance, in a green workshop concept, which will be one potential solution to develop new business model, new opportunities for the workshops. And here, Avi, you're absolutely right talking about challenge. We work on this with a pool of experts and partners, but we are also looking for any technology. We are looking for any idea. We are looking for new initiatives that might fit to this green workshop concept, whether from a service base or from a product perspective, sorry. To keep things simple, I would just like to say that Nexus is investing, Nexus is acting, Nexus is preparing together with Mobilion, with the right and unique, which is a right and unique partner for us, by and for our industry. So the sole word I can say is take your chance.
Thank you, Thierry, for this very insightful discussion. Now I wish to pass the lead to my partner, Idan Katz.
Thank you, Avi. Hello, everyone. I'm Idan Katz, and I'm a founding member of Mobilion Ventures and the CTO. I'm glad to have with me Alex Ashmore, who is the aftermarket president of Borg Warner, who just lately acquired Delphi Technologies. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Idan.
Hi, so maybe tell us just a bit about you and Borg Warner so the audience would get to know you a bit more.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Idan. I've spent my whole career, 30 years, working in the aftermarket in 2 or 3 companies across Europe and Asia Pacific. I have global responsibility for Borg Warner's aftermarket. And I think important to reflect, Borg Warner acquired Delphi Technologies last October. I came as part of that acquisition. And it's the largest automotive acquisition in recent times. So it was a pretty significant event.
So if innovation is so important, can you share with us a bit how Borg Warner are addressing innovation?
Absolutely, Aidan. I think the first thing I would say is since the acquisition, it's 6 months old, so reasonably recent, we've evolved our mission statement, and it has innovation and sustainability at the core of our mission statement. And innovation is embedded in the processes within the business units, within the Borg-Warner group. And we also do some by acquisitions. Of course, the acquisition of Delphi was one way that Borg-Warner captured some highly innovative products with the electrification of vehicles. We also invest directly in some companies and take equity stakes, for example, in Polycharge, in the recent investment in Akasol, the battery pack manufacturer. But also through Mobilion Ventures, it gives us access to look through a wide range of innovative startup technologies to really help us thrive and help us think of new opportunities that we can bring to this huge global aftermarket.
Thank you. Borg-Warner is a major supplier for components in the aftermarket and is a champion in diagnostics. Can you maybe share with us and envision how do you see the future of maintenance?
Sure. Let's start with a couple of data points and reasons why this area is so attractive. Of course, every year there's 80 or 90 million vehicles manufactured in original equipment, but the combined installed base of light-duty vehicles around the world is 1.4 to 1.5 billion vehicles running on the road today. That's a huge responsibility for innovation and sustainability to keep those vehicles performing in terms of safety and in terms of emissions at the same levels as the car was initially designed for, or hopefully even better by adding on incremental things that can improve emissions and safety. So firstly, there's a huge installed base. Secondly, the passenger vehicle has been described as a computer on wheels. There are so many control units and electronics around the vehicle today, with over 50% of the vehicle's content, including everything, being electronics. And you combine those two things, a huge market, the computer on wheels, with now the connected vehicle, and there is an enormous opportunity to create value propositions, to look at opportunities to connect up, the output from some of those computers, turn it into data, feed it over the cloud, look for things that can give you hints on predictive maintenance, system health, data collection, vehicle diagnostics, and combining all of that to create even better value propositions for the market at large, and importantly, working out how you monetize all of those technological opportunities.
Indeed. So just for your last point, data monetization is a huge challenge in the aftermarket.
Sure.
Maybe you can share with us, what would be the kind of innovation that you would like to see in the future, in the coming era?
Yeah, I think that's the critical point, how to monetize. I touched on some of them on my answer to your previous question, really. So let's just pick up on some of those. Collecting that diagnostic data, working it, maybe connecting it somehow with different types of repair and distribution infrastructure, connecting it to inventory management, connecting it to how an independent service workshop can give better, faster, and more accurate solutions to customers who have trouble with or opportunities with their own vehicles. So I think that's the critical point. How you can connect all of that up and turn it into a great opportunity.
So thank you very much, Alex, for sharing your insight and experience with us. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite all of you, the attendants, to our next event on May 20, 12 o'clock. Don't miss on this event. We're going to have an event that talks about going global in the aftermarket, where we're going to invite startups who exited and market leaders in the aftermarket, which you should hear about and hear what they say. Thank you very much.